So this didn't get passed?
No.
Okay. Call to order the regularly scheduled meeting for Thursday, February 27th. I invite everyone to stand. Invocation to be delivered by Pastor Robin Brown, and if you remain standing for the pledge.
Okay, let's pray. God, we thank you for this evening that we can come together to do the business of the city. God, we thank you for the privilege of living in this great city. And God, we just thank you for all the people that make up this great town. And God, we just pray for your blessing over this time together. We pray for your presence. We pray for your wisdom, and we pray for your leadership as we make the decisions that need to be made here tonight. We pray your blessing over this time together in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mark, if you can give us roll call.
Brown.
Here.
Cleary.
Here.
Hany.
Here.
Harvey. Hawk.
Here.
Vaughn.
Here.
Harry.
Here. We have approval of minutes from the last meeting. Budget workshops of January 14th and 21st, 2025. Regular council meeting of February 13th, 2025. Finance committee meeting of February 13th, 2025. Public utilities committee meeting February 13th, 2025. And special council meeting February 17th, 2025. Any additions, Chris?
Craig sent me a couple of requests. Special meeting, Craig asked to change let me see here. Make sure that it's changed from Haney to Harvey in the first two paragraphs on the special meeting notes. The Craig presided over that meeting, I did not.
Saw that, yeah.
And please put adopted after the first ordinance, like the others, please.
Also, on that first paragraph, it says the members present, one of them was Pierce. It's not on council, it's Brown, it should be.
I used it when on his, sorry.
Anybody else? At this time, we invite any of the citizens of Ironton to approach the podium. Please state your name and your address for audience participation.
Mary Tessie, 1507 Karen Street. I'm back about my driveway slope, and I actually have some numbers for you, Mr. Haney. The distance from the street to the sidewalk, which is the top of my driveway, is 8 feet. Currently, it slopes 6.3% to the end of the driveway. My end of my yard is 10.9% sloped. So you can see where my concern comes in for where all that water is going to go. It's going to go right to the sidewalk into my driveway. Were you able to find out?
I have actually, I've sent out an email to all involved to have I intend to call an executive session.
That's how much that sloped down to my sidewalk.
Yep.
So I brought, so you have an idea on my driveway. That water is going to come back on me. So I did talk to the EPA again, and I did count. There's 15 homes that don't have a catch basin for that water on both sides. There's no catch basin for that water to catch. So I did talk to the EPA, and they said something about the street. Of course, you can't count the street because they haven't done the final on the street yet, and it's not higher than our driveways. And one other thing I'd like to add, the end of my driveway, where they put that, the new curb, it's already cracked. So
The curb is already cracked?
yes, it is. Mm-hmm. And it's going to continue probably because of water. That's what water is going to do to it. It's just going to continue to tear up everything. So I continue to, I'm willing to wait a little bit. The EPA said they're going to look into it, and so I'm willing to give a little leeway, but I'm not going to stop until, if it gets signed off on, I'm just not going to sit there, because I'm not going to have that water back on me, because all my lines run right, it's a very short distance from the house to the street where all my lines run. Water, sewer, everything's right there. And one other thing I'd like to add, now that they've put those risen water meters up, there's about this much space now. I can't get a rider. I can't get a lawnmower. I can't get it through. So I'm going to have to hire somebody to weed eat that every week, because now I can't cut it with my rider. The friends and I have...
Are you saying the basement for the water meters?
The basin for the water meter's here, and there's about this much room till the curb. So the curb, of course, you're at a slope already. Right. It slopes down. I can't get a mower or anything in between there. Nobody can down there now. It's going to have to be weed eated, or you're going to have to pull the weeds or whatever. And I'll have to hire somebody to do that. So just a note on that also. I also noticed that they said that Batham and Florence was going to be closed. Are there going to be emergency services available to those people on the streets?
It sounds, from what the letter and everything that I got, it sounds like it's going to be for working hours for that week. I haven't had a chance to catch any of the guys working, but they just dropped off a note or whatever. So basically right now, I would say they do have steel plate training. That's what I was going to ask them. If somebody has an emergency, will you have the plates on reserve or whatever to place in case we need something?
Well, I hope you learned from Karen Street and the other streets that we had people on dialysis that couldn't get out. We had a lady there was an ambulance called. We had a gentleman on a scooter who had to go through the alleyway. There's other situations besides an emergency that could, there's elderly there. And nobody ever seems to, I've learned that. Nobody cares about the elderly. You're just on your own. They don't care what happens to you. And something I'd like to add, I was looking at the expenses for 2025. I see we're spending $20,000 on dog fencing, $30,000 on fireworks, but we raise that water bill. We've got elderly folks. I know an elderly lady. $78 water bill a month is a lot for somebody that is on a fixed income, but it doesn't seem to resonate with anybody. We just spend. But the topper was that you're paying $955, or I don't know if that was just monthly or yearly, for gym memberships for employees. If I worked for a good company, we still had to pay for our own gym memberships. So I don't see how you could go to people in Ironton and say, we're raising your water bill, but we're going to send Joe over here to the gym for free. He's getting paid. Let him pay for his own membership. I don't think we should be doing that. And I think there's a lot of things that really need to be looked at, especially if you're going to gouge the elderly that are on fixed incomes. That's just a comment I'd like to make. I also wanted to know if the city had ever applied for a mosquito grant. I understand there's $25,000 that's available through the EPA, and I have a creek behind my house. My understanding from when I talked to Arcadis, they're not doing anything with it. I'd love for the city to apply for a grant for homeowners that have water behind their homes all the time. And I am going to check on the mosquitoes because we have mosquitoes. So I would love for you guys to look into tiling that so that we wouldn't have to put up with the mosquito issue anymore.
Is the 25? Is it no matching funds? Do you know?
No, I just looked online and it
sure.
said $25,000 would be available.
Do you know the cost of our mosquito?
No, it's not that much.
Well, if we can do it for free, that'd be great. So thank you for that.
It was just doing for spraying though.
Right.
Yeah, but the water is to the top, and it will be for 3 or 4 months through the winter months. It always is. And I don't think they're running the pump down there because I didn't hear it. So the water stays high until it finally goes down, and that takes a little bit. So it'd be wonderful if you could check on that and see if there's any way that we could the people down there, the 4 people that put up with that for years would like that. But I don't know with that water coming from the DOT, if that has any bearing or not, or would we have to go back to the DOT?
I'm not a big fan of the water that comes off the highway. I never have been. That's a sore spot for me because I think they should be paying, but they don't. So we'll check.
So we go back to the city.
Well, we have to take care of the water that comes off of it. We have to treat the water that comes off the 52.
Well, then I will complain about the mosquitoes that come off of it.
I'll look into that, but also I do want to assure you that, because Craig wanted to be a part of it. Now he knew he wasn't going to be here before or at some point during the next meeting, I've sent a request for a possible executive session regarding some issues, and you're not the only one. I've got some more. So
Well, my understanding that trough, there's not supposed to be any more water coming from that trough down. It's only supposed to be where the DOT comes out, and that would be 4 homeowners that would have still water behind their homes. Me being one of them. Because I actually own 2 lots back there. We have animals that are back there. And actually, just a side note, when I was younger, I had an illness, and we had been playing down there by the creek. They never did really find out what it was. So I'm sure we've got some issues with the mosquitoes down there.
Maybe since they won't pay for metered stormwater, maybe they'll do that for us. I don't know. I'll reach out and see if ODOT will.
Well, if you need me to contact anybody, I don't care to
Hey,
complain.
Mayor.
Well, I need a name and number.
Thanks, Ms. Tuff.
Good evening, Amanda Cleary, 1742 on 2nd Street. I'm here this evening as a representative of the nonprofit organization Third and Center. Third and Center is a grassroots organization that was founded in 2019 with the goal of using arts to revitalize and unite the community. The organization's name represents the concept of third spaces, which are places where people spend their time between home and work, fostering idea exchange, relationship building, and community strengthening. Third and Center is dedicated to creating these spaces through its programming and projects and hopes to encourage others to do the same. The organization is focused on transforming communities by promoting artistic, cultural, and small business development. By investing in the arts and supporting young people, Third and Center aims to create a thriving and stable community and to stimulate future economic growth in Ironton, Lawrence County, and the Appalachian River region. We receive funding through federal, state, and local grants, foundation support, community partnerships, fundraising, and individual donations. A community partnership is a way for an individual, business, or organization to make a one-time contribution to support all of our programming and events for the 2025 year. We strive to invest the funds we receive in the Tri-State River region by supporting as many small and independent businesses as possible. So individuals can be assured that their money stays local when they support our organization. In 2024, our impact highlight includes programming and meal service at the Ironton Senior Center. So the Senior Center operates out of the Park Avenue Apartments on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Participants enjoy things like book clubs, exercise and wellness programs, health screenings, art classes, crafts, bingo, community classes, and holiday celebrations. In 2024, we served 2,381 meals through partnerships with local small businesses and including the establishment of a collaborative kitchen, which we employ one person as a program coordinator, and then the collaborative kitchen is partnered with a local small business, Frankly Cellar Catering and Events. Our arts programming includes the Inspire program, which is a community art program for individuals of all ages and abilities. In 2024, we hosted 40 community art opportunities and a collaborative mural installation on the riverfront. In 2024, our community events included the 2nd annual Trash Bash River Cleanup, the 4th annual Crosswalk Painting event, which is held at the intersection of 3rd and Center Street in downtown Ironton. The Summer Solstice Music and Arts Festival was in its 3rd year, which is a day-long celebration of all things local that features a talent show, interactive art walk, local vendors, food trucks, youth education, and live music. And we also hosted the First Cast Youth Fishing Instruction Program, which is an invitation for individuals of all ages and abilities to explore the joys of fishing The instruction covers entry-level fishing, water safety, and aims to introduce the next generation to aquatic stewardship and environmental awareness. In 2025, Third and Center will continue the Inspire Arts program and expand it to include pottery classes and stained glass workshops. The Ironton Senior Center will be in its second year of programming, and we are working diligently to partner with the Area Agency on Aging to secure grant funding that will enable us to provide lunch service to seniors at no cost. Currently, they pay $4 per meal. We will be hosting the 3rd annual Trash Bash Community Cleanup, which will be held on April 26th. The 5th annual Community Crosswalk event, which will be held on May the 18th. The 3rd annual First Cast Youth Fishing Instruction on June the 21st, and other dates is to be determined. And the 4th annual Summer Solstice Music and Arts Festival, which will take place on the Ironton Riverfront in 2021. In addition to our programs and events for 2025, Third and Center also has a big project that we're working on. Last fall, we purchased what's known as the Bartram's Warehouse on the corner of 8th and Railroad Street, and have a vision of transforming the space into a community center that will host art education classrooms, remote work opportunities, an industrial kitchen, and a small business incubator. The facility will also become home of the Ironton Senior Center and has the potential to serve as an emergency response center in times of community need. The building needs extensive renovations in order to turn it into a thriving cultural hub, but we are determined to create this resource for our community. So I have copies of our 2025 partnership opportunity, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Wait a minute. Amanda, did you say April 26th for Trash Bash?
That's correct.
Great. Nate, yeah. You from the creek.
For the Marshall property, were you able to get that, did you survey that or get the utilities marked? Or are you still wanting to go forward with that?
As far as the street vacation?
Yeah, with the utilities, and I know that's kind of like that's where I think we left off last time.
It was, and yes, we have had the property surveyed. I met with Mr. Haskins. We have an issue with where the main sewer line or the main water line runs in proximity to the building. So our original design plan of installing like a deck-like feature on the front is going to have to be revisited, and we'll have to have an architect come and redesign that plans. But so that's kind of further down on our list. We need some immediate needs for the building, like new gutters and roof. So that'll take place first, and then we'll be able to revisit the entrance. And the resolution is probably just going to be something that can be attached to the building but removed in the event that that sewer line would, or that water line would need maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're optimistic that it'll still work out. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Anybody else that would like to address council?
I guess I'll get up. Joe Meyer, 620 South 6th. I'm not nearly well organized and planned as Amanda there. You always got down the street. But I'm back again just to address the house on 5th Street there. I know there's people living there, and there's more people than what the zoning allows for. It was before Christmas time. We came here last time, talked to you guys. If they're not following the ordinances, what's their penalty? What's the time frame in their penalty? Last time we talked about their sewer issue that was eroding the street away. Sam said he was going to send a letter that week afterwards, and you're two and a half months in. What's the resolution there?
I had talked to you.
I understand.
I told you about all this stuff.
But it's been 2.5 months, and I want it on record that.
Okay, you were talking like you didn't know.
Well, I don't know what the resolution is. What is the penalty for not following through with breaking the zoning ordinances? I mean, do you go 6 months before you do something? They break the ordinance, you fine them, just like, if he gets to be running the stop sign.
We're operating under the assumption of pending litigation at this point.
That's fine. I'm just asking in general, zoning ordinances, code enforcement, if you break a code enforcement, what is the penalty and the time frame?
I'd like to defer to our solicitor. Matt, can you give us a synopsis of that?
If someone is violating the zoning ordinance, the code enforcement officer needs to tell them what the violation is. Should do that in writing.
Okay.
If they don't correct it, then we'd have to take them to court and get an injunction against them.
What is the time frame that you give them to correct their actions?
That's up to the mayor.
What time frame do you give them to correct actions?
It'd be 30 days usually, but we're in contact, as I told you, with them. I haven't
If
been
you're
able to
still-
address you all since I've talked to Joe.
But whether you're in contact or not, they're breaking the code ordinance. They should be the same. I mean, if you arrest me for murder, I'm in jail until I go to court. Fining, do whatever you do, to whatever until it's time to go to court. Until the judge tells you no, you can't do it anymore. That's my whole thing. They got to have consequences to what they're doing, and they're not doing.
I can't go based off just what you said, Joe.
it. Okay. What about the sewer issue? How long is that
They're
gonna last?
working with a plumber to get the problem fixed.
So it's like, again, 2.5 months until he's here last. And how long do you give them till you start fixing it yourself and putting things against the property?
Yeah, it's just the same as if you had a property that was dilapidated and we condemned it and you go under and you start doing work to fix it. We're not going to tear the house down still.
I understand that,
You know, so that's the same kind of concept that we're operating.
but I haven't seen any work being done. That's
No,
my
and,
issue.
and that's where they have to have that permit within so much time. And
What is that
we're,
time?
we're having to communicate through attorneys at this point, so it's just, we're working.
I don't understand why,
I think I've
if
explained
they're,
that to you.
I don't understand why you have to go through an attorney. If they're doing something wrong, they should be fined, stopped, whatever. The legal actions and the attorney stuff can happen after the fact, but you need them to stop doing what they're doing wrong.
The recourse for that would be us doing the work on that one.
Okay, and then put a lien against their house, just like you said you was gonna do.
Yeah, that's what will happen if they don't do it, but they're working on it.
Working on it, or telling you they're gonna work on it, that they've got a plumber. Have you seen a plumber there? Have you got plans on their recommendation on how to fix it? 2.5 months in.
I can't talk too much about it, because it's pending litigation.
What's the date of what was the date of the first?
The first letter
Citation or
wasn't
letter
a
or whatever.
citation, it was
Okay.
informational to let them know, because no one lived there at that time.
So that was in December,
Yeah.
and then.
So now we have.
Which one are you talking about? The zoning or
The
the?
formal complaint was made last week that there's more than 5 people living there, so we've been working with to confirm that. With
Formal
them.
complaint was the 20th, let's just say the 20th, something like that, maybe.
Let's say I first was contacted Friday. It's been Thursday.
And then 20th or 21st, right? So we're gonna go from there. So what, Mike, they have 30 days from that?
Well, once, yeah, so we started reaching out to confirm what the complaint was to determine if it was valid or not. And we've been back and forth. We're waiting to hear from the attorney.
Okay. Ours or theirs?
Theirs.
How long can they drag that on for?
Well, if we don't hear from them by tomorrow, then we'll be just issuing under the assumption that they're violating.
Okay. So they're,
And that's the same shit right now.
so like we've got the formal complaint last Friday, so the
Yeah.
following Friday we will have, like you said, put it on record that we'll have a violation submitted tomorrow.
Yeah, if they can't confirm it for us, then we will operate under the assumption that is.
So the 28th, the violation will be issued.
Like I said, we just want to make sure something is being done. As property owners in the neighborhood, most of us have young children running around. Something needs to be done. You know, you guys create zoning ordinances as a council, and the city should be the ones enforcing it.
That's what they're there for.
That's exactly right. And Sam, like I said, I just want this on record. I know we talked, and I appreciate you talking, but I just feel like it needs to be more formal than a phone call with you. Just so everybody knows what's going on. So what's your time frame on the repairs to the street and having waste going into the ground right there and eroding the street away.
Like I said, we need to discuss with them. I haven't got to discuss anything with them yet on the pending litigation. So anything we say right now
Look, in
is for
general,
their review.
in general,
to-
if somebody has a
to
code
like-
problem that they're not up to code on their utilities,
at
what
the
is
point
the
where it's
general-
not getting done.
what's the general time frame that you have to wait before you do something?
At the point where it's not getting done.
I mean, is that 2 years? Is it 6 weeks?
It'll be whenever we determine.
Do they have to get like a building permit from us to do that?
Yeah.
So
Do an excavation.
have they got this letter? Have they got anything?
Like I said, we're having to talk to attorneys.
Okay.
That's a kind of not a very nice answer. I mean, as a citizen of Ironton, I'm asking.
I can't give you the answer you want.
No,
That's the
I'm
problem.
not asking anything in particular. I'm asking in general, if you have an issue with something is not right at anybody's house, what time frame do you give people to fix things as a city?
Let me step in here for just
Yeah.
a moment, Mr. Meyer. The citation apparently, I mean, unless they get up at 6 in the morning and get all this done by 8 a.m., the citation will be issued tomorrow.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about now. And the zoning issue is a totally different subject. My second point, my second point was repairs to, faulty sewer
I
lines.
mean, we're going to operate on the same thing. If we don't hear from them tomorrow, then we're assuming that it's not getting done. And I don't want to say anything else, because they're watching our meetings and they know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, when there's attorneys involved, then we have to let the attorneys.
I understand that, but I'm asking general questions. I'm not asking anything specific about a certain case. I'm asking, how long do you wait before you do something with a property?
The general answer is it's on a per case basis.
Per case is based. I mean,
That's your general
When
answer.
they work with us, that's a lot better than us living not working with.
I understand that. I agree totally. But I don't want to come back 6 months and you say, hey, they
Yeah, it's
hired
not
a
gonna
plumber.
happen.
You know, that's what I'm saying.
If you don't have confidence in us, I understand, but.
Chris Haney.
How, Mark, you may know this, typically on a work, or a petition for a building, whatever, all that's on file, how long?
That petition for a building or whatever, I don't understand any of that.
Okay. So how long is it good for? Once you go to the city and say, I'm doing this work,
When
this
you
is
get
what's
a
going on.
permit,
Yeah, the permit for building
Building
or repairs or
for 1
whatever.
year, but it wouldn't, that's not.
Oh,
It should be building permit.
it'll be an excavation.
Okay. So do we put a timeline on those?
It's gotta get done. I mean.
They consulted with a plumber.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're waiting on word from a plumber, and they're waiting to talk with the plumber.
Okay.
As a city, as a business decision, we would much rather the homeowner fix this, because we have no expense, we have no cost of getting it fixed, okay? We have to work on facts and laws and ordinances and not on emotion. And right now, I feel like we're being asked to work on emotions, and I get it 100%. But we cannot operate that way. We have to make business decisions. We have to make decisions based on our ordinances and based on the information that we know, not that we hear and not that we see on Facebook. And that's about all I can and am willing to say right now. And I'm not trying to be curt or short, but I've talked to 5 people since last Thursday night at 10 o'clock when I got a message that there's 5 people there. I have heard there's 3 people there. Since this all started, I've heard there's 8 people there. I've heard last Thursday that there were 5 people there.
See, that's my whole problem.
And I'm
How
just saying,
do you investigate this without going into the house and counting heads? I mean, how are we planning on enforcing all these ordinances when there's no way to prove it unless you go count heads?
well, do we?
If we're not allowed to.
Do we have the manpower to count every head in every R1 district and prove that every person
Oh.
that lives in your house?
Well, don't get me wrong, I
is
understand
yours?
that. I
And if
understand that.
everybody
don't
that
have that
lives in
manpower.
But Whether,
And I'm working on the complaints that we have, and with the tools that I have with me, and with the conversations that I've had with the folks who I've spoke with, and I'm handling it in the best manner that I see fit. And I understand that that's not good enough. I wish I could walk up there and grab them by the scruff of the neck like you want us to, but that don't happen. That's not going to happen.
owners and neighbors, if we could see something being done, know that there's some kind of a citation issue or some kind of pending litigation or something, but all we're doing is seeing people move in and out.
Let's
they take one out and move another one in, and that's already happened.
Let's start right here. Okay. So tomorrow, if it's not remedied, violation will be issued. Okay, so next meeting's on the 13th, I think, March. Because like Mayor said, going lawyer to lawyer, it's probably not going to be tomorrow when we hear something. You know what I'm saying? So how about we ask for an update on the situation possibly next meeting after the violations issue.
I'm good a month from now. Just let us know something and stop it from happening. We've got codes and zoning for reasons.
Mr. Meyer, do we have a contact for you?
Oh, I think almost everybody in here's got my number if they want.
Yeah, so let's just go ahead. I mean, we're holding, it's on record, we're holding to that.
Okay.
Violation will be issued tomorrow, and then once we gather some more information ourselves, we'll be able to give you.
I appreciate it.
There may not be like our solicitor Mayor said and Mark said, some things you can't discuss. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
So there's some things that are not going to.
But all I was wanting to know is how long can we go without hearing anything? I don't want the answer. That's why I'm saying in general.
Right.
Get violations, what do you do, and what is the time frame to getting them resolved?
Let's with the complaint was filed the 21st, we're going to follow through with this violation tomorrow, and then we'll have some more information for an update on the 13th.
That sounds great.
Good deal.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else who would like to address council? Can you give us your name and your address, please?
My name is Donnie Roberts. I live at 1708 South 7th Street, Ironton, Ohio. I don't want to address y'all as of right now. I am the promoter of Thunder on the River that is being brought back to Ironton.
Great.
I just want to give you all updates. I was going to give you a band list. Everything is going good. I've talked to a lot of people that's excited in town that's coming back. I'm leaving Saturday morning to go to Daytona for Bike Week because I got several meetings set up with Indian. And then I got an email today. I will be in 3 weeks traveling to Milwaukee to talk to Harley Davidson. Estimated people coming, I'm estimating about between 20 to 40,000 people. Attendees.
Okay.
The rally is August 20th through the 24th. All proceeds are going to Towers to Tunnels and Folds of Honor. The reason why I choose those two charities is because, one, I am a retired disabled veteran. I lost a good buddy in Iraq. And Folds of Honor is paying for all 3 of his children to go to Marshall University. Reason why I choose Towers to Tunnel is because they help first responders and now they are doing homeless veterans. My grandpa was a desk sergeant, Jim Akers. My uncle, Jimmy Akers, which was his son, is my uncle. And then Joey's my cousin. And Glenn Sharp, that passed away here recently, was on the fire department. That's the reason why I chose that charity, was because, of them. How this all got started was right after the tornadoes. When was that, Sam? back in April.
There was one last spring and one in the fall. I mean, it was like a hurricane.
The one in April. But the one that, it was like a couple weeks after the layback got hit. They were doing a fundraiser at the Black Sheep Harley Davidson. And me and a few others were talking. And just talking about how the fun it was when the rally was in town and how, Frogtown was hopping and, laid back was hopping and we got, a bunch of us got joking and I thought everybody was serious and they were like, well, I said, you guys serious about wanting to bring it back? They were like, yeah, okay. So I set a meeting up with Sam, talked to Sam, and I've been running with this for a year. I have invested a lot of money into this, my own personal money. I am not asking the city for a dime. All I ask is for your all support. That's all I'm asking. The plan is that what I got scheduled for the rally, I got bike show coming, which will be doing it. I'm doing bike games, mini bike races. The plan is if I can get permission to use Moulton's Field to do the bike games and the mini bike races. To get in each event of the bike game is $10. I am making this affordable for everybody. There will be, to come see the bands, there is no charge. It is open to the public. They can walk in, walk out, check out all the vendors. Nobody is being charged a dime. The only people that's being charged is the vendors. And that's how we're going to make the money for the proceeds. Every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, the guy that's advertising for me, he's a really nice guy. He's been helping me with this through thick and thin. And my other buddy, Craig, that has Road Hawk Magazine, which is a magazine that it's not like your typical, everybody thinks, oh, biker magazine. Craig's magazine, you can lay it on your coffee table and your 2-year-old child can come and pick it up. And there's nothing profanity, no nudity, no nothing in his magazine. Basically, it's just a magazine that, you can sit and read and not worry about anything. Matter of fact, one of the main sponsors, Flickinger Law, he's out of Columbus. He's a veteran and he owns his own law firm. He is one of my main sponsors. One of his employees also works for Q97 in Columbus. She's been hitting it hard up in Columbus. I've gotten several phone calls from people from overseas. Had a guy from England call me. Him and 8 of his buddies is shipping their bikes to the United States. They are putting them on a boat in the next couple of weeks. Because once it gets here, it's got to go through customs and all that. So they're going to ride from New York to Ironton, Ohio to check this rally out. Had a guy from Australia call me. 4 of his buddies, they're shipping their bikes here. I've had people call me from Arkansas. I've had people call me from pretty much across the United States because this has been on Nightmare's program. Saying, hey, where can we stay at? I've been telling them about our hotels. So we got 2 hotels in town. Call them, book it before it gets full. Matter of fact, the lady that's managing the hotels called me, told me that she is giving 25% off for anybody that's coming out of town for the rally. But all they got to do is say, hey, we're coming to see Thunder on the River.
Nick?
Mr. Rock, first of all, thank you for your service. I appreciate that. Where are you planning to stage that? Is it downtown?
The
or
stage,
on the riverfront?
my plan is for the stage to be down there on the riverfront.
Okay.
All the vendors will be up. I'm trying to work it out with Sam. I like to have the vendors all on 2nd Street.
Okay.
And the food vendors and all that where the farmer's market is.
Okay.
I remember I got people asking about camping, and I was going to talk to Sam about that too. When I was with the American Legion, when we used the old Ironton boat dock,
Yes.
I wanted to see about using that up and let the VFW set up so they can make money to use that for camping.
Okay. And then with 20 to 40,000 people in, just minus the thing, security. Are you hiring private security?
I'm going to talk to the Ironton Police Department and see about hiring off-duty officers.
Okay.
That's because that's one way I like to see you all make money too. So I figure, if I'm going to make a decent amount of money, I also would like to have the Ironton Police Department involved. I even told Chad that, and the chief, when I talked to them a while back, I'm getting T-shirts made. I'm having T-shirts made to be sold. And I wanted every officer and their significant other, their T-shirt size, so I can give them a free T-shirt.
I guess and I remember the rally from back in the day and enjoyed it. There was a significant amount of people concentrated in one place, and that was always, in my mind, always a concern was security, businesses being secured.
Yeah, the way my rally, how I can explain this in my thinking terms, okay? I've been to Daytona several times. I've been to Sturgis. I got a 2016, I bought a new in 2016 Harley Davidson Ultra Limited Load. I've got over 150,000 miles on it. I've been to almost every rally that you can possibly think of in the United States. The big rallies, like Texas Roundup, Sturgis, Daytona, Myrtle Beach, Ohio Bike Week. I even went to Little Sturgis in Kentucky. And every rally, and the reason why I think this will be such a success because the numbers in Daytona are dwindling down because it's the same thing over and over every year. The numbers in Sturgis are getting ready to start dwindling down because it's the same thing every year. Reason why I'm throwing different things to do is so people got stuff to do before the bands, and they're not just walking around. I mean, they're actually participating. Nobody does bike games. Nobody does mini bike races. I'm even also doing a beauty contest. Keep people in town and keeping them here so that way they can spend their money, and every business owner in town will make money. Yeah.
Like Nate said, appreciate your service. I appreciate you putting this together, for bringing it to the city. You answered a couple of my questions. So we're basically, this is going to be honed into the farmers market riverfront area, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor, you remember rally. The city had some camping areas, and you were talking about the one, what was
the old Legion one.
The Legion behind
the flood wall, right there by the mouth.
Okay.
That's where, when I was with the Legion Riders, that's where we were at.
Is there any other? I mean, that's a lot of people. If we're having,
I was going to say, if you're going to have a bunch of people, maybe the laid back where it's not operating, might be a good place for primitive type camping, things like that.
well, is there any city?
I don't know. I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
Walton's Field.
Who owns the old Shenanigans property?
We're going to need more than that.
I know,
It's going to be acres.
I'm saying several different sites. We have 2 or 3 campers there.
I don't know. I think it's private owned. They use it.
What about the Nowell property until there's nothing's going on there? Could we?
I don't know. They're moving pretty quick on that.
I'm just trying to grasp in my mind where, because the hotel's going to fill pretty quick and those camping spots are going to.
Yes, and like I said, my partner couldn't be here. He's got the flu, and him and his wife has been helping me tremendously. They got most of most of the vendor applications. Right now, we've got about 60 already and more coming. JJ that owns Whiskey Throttle Cycles over in Greenock, I know for a fact he's taken up 8 spots because he's bringing the Rockford Falls gates in because he's like their main distributor, and he's talking to them, and they're talking about bringing their truck in, their big semi and set up to do installs and sell and everything.
The last thing I kind of want to piggyback off what Nate said was security. 20 to 40,000 that's a lot of people in one spot. If I don't know that our off-duty officers, I mean that's a lot. That's a lot of people.
Well, I was going to talk to sit down and talk to Jeff and the chief.
Yeah, I was going to say
to see if the sheriff's office would fill in to where Ironton PD couldn't. That'd be a problem there.
Yeah, I would think you probably need all of the law enforcement agencies.
Because the reason why I want regular law enforcement officers is because one, your normal person, your normal typical guy, normal biker is going to listen to an actual law enforcement officer than some Joe Schmo walking around with a radio and you know a security with a shirt that says security on the back.
I want to ask our solicitor something real quick. Like, do you know if like the Scioto County Sheriff's Department can provide private security in Lawrence County? I mean, because we're talking tens of thousands of people.
If they allow their officers to do off-duty work.
Yeah, so the way, I would imagine, because the way we actually do it, you wouldn't do it with the city, you'd do it with the officers as a detail. That's how they do, you know, when we used to
Ball
watch
games and things.
Yeah,
Right.
they pay them
Yeah.
like 1099.
Yeah.
So you could hire whoever you want to do that, but obviously if you have a commissioned officer, it's going to carry.
Yeah, it's better. I'd rather have a commissioned officer there than, like I said, some Joe Schmo with a radio that, because the way I look at it, you know, a regular officer can de-escalate a situation quicker than, you know, some hothead which thinks he's Barney Fife and.
And I appreciate you thinking about our officers first, and I think they should get first dibs, but you're probably going to need more than what our police department can provide. But like I said, I was just wanting to make sure the legality of like Jackson County Sheriff's Department, Scioto County Sheriff's Department, if you're going to hire them on like a detail, like for football games, basketball games.
I just want to keep it local. That's
right.
My whole plan is to try to keep all this, you know, local. And my goal is to do this every year. And I'm hoping, and it's been in the paper twice, and I've said it in the paper twice. My goal is, and I'm not any younger. I'm 53 years old, and I've battled cancer twice and a lot of other health issues. Before I'm 6 feet in the ground, I want to see this bigger than Daytona. I want to see this bigger than Sturgis. You know, and I mean, this could be great for the city. And not only just for the rally part, but say like Indian comes down and they like what they see. Or, you know, say, hey, let's build a factory here. You know, it can be, this can turn into something, a lot of good possibilities for jobs and everything. And sorry.
Oh, I was just going to ask. You can continue.
But another thing that nobody realizes in this area, the roads we got. Not saying bad. I'm just talking the scenery. If you jump on a bike and take off and go out 141. Jump on a bike and take off and go out 93. Or go out Lake Vesuvius. Ride them roads and just, you wouldn't believe the scenery. We got it better. Have y'all ever heard of the Tail of the Dragon? We got it. I've ridden the Dragon so many times I can do it in my sleep. We have a better scenery in this area that nobody knows about than the Tail of the Dragon. even though it's 11 miles and 300 and some curves. Yes, I'll give them credit. Yes, it is pretty. But what we got more to offer, we got straight stretches, we got curves, we got, if you want to pull off side, we got places if you want to pull off side of the road and sit and listen to nature, you can. And like, if you go to Proctorville, take Route 70 up to Logan in that area, you got the triple nickel. I mean, we're sitting on, I'm not saying a gold mine, but as far as a tourist thing, and if we play our cards right, we can make this work and take, like that lawyer I was telling you about. He came down a couple days ago when it was nice weather. I fired my bike up, he rode his down, we met at Big Boy. And he rode his bike from Columbus to here. We went just in this area, we went on a 250-mile ride. And he was loving it. And this guy's ridden all over the country like me. He's ridden in Canada. He's ridden in Europe. And he said he's never seen scenery anywhere like this place.
Yeah, my question for you was to do with insurance for the event. Would there be a policy?
There will be insurance. I'm getting a $1 million insurance policy.
Well, Donnie, listen, I appreciate you.
Hey, no problem, Bo.
You and I have had several conversations about this. I'm glad you and Sam have been working on this for quite a while. I've spoken to several people, Rick Jensen and different people, and they're all pretty excited about it. Let me give the trifecta. Thank you for your service.
Hey, no problem.
Thank you for thinking of our community. When it comes to this, as far as I know, I'm the only member of council that rides. I know somebody else sitting on this council who used to ride a couple years ago. I've seen the pictures. But I was, when Raleigh went away, before I moved back home, I was pretty disappointed by that. So I'm glad that you're putting the effort into having it happen for us. Thank you for that. And if there's, I think I'd probably speak for everybody on council.
One thing I forgot to mention, guys, I'm sorry, it just popped in my head. The night of the rally on Wednesday night, I am doing a write-in. And I've already talked to the recruiters. The Air Force is planning on doing a flyover, and the Army is going to send Black Hawks over as a flyover. Thursday night, they're going to send a guy down from MEP, so all the local kids here that are enlisting will be brought up on stage, and they will have their swearing-in ceremony. That's another thing I wanted to bring up, and I forgot. Old age. I don't know. Bob, I'm getting close to you, ain't I?
But I think I speak for everybody on council, leaders, and probably the mayor too. Anything that we can do to help you with this, it stands to be a great situation for the city of Ironton, for our economy, for any of the local tourist attractions. One thing I might recommend, if you haven't already done it, I think you just work right around the corner from there, pop into the Lawrence County Chamber.
Yeah, where is that at?
It's the LEDC building. It's got the big neon sign right there at Solid, 52 in Solid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's an Italian restaurant or something right there by it. But pop in there and talk to, to be honest with you, you could probably ask for Dr. Daniel's building, because he loves to talk to people anyway, but call ahead and maybe schedule an appointment. And, they've got a lot going on with helping to develop Lawrence County's travel and tourism, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to hop in there and maybe get some ideas from them and let them know what you got going on.
And another question I wanted to ask you guys, the Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce, who do I talk to about that? That's them? Okay.
Yeah.
And does anybody know how I can get Ironton High School band to come and play the national anthem?
I'd say there's a few of us that could probably pick up the
I
phone.
can probably get you in contact. I'll get you, are you gonna stay here for the remainder of the meeting?
Yes.
Okay, I'll get with you, I'll get your contact
I can-
information. Yeah,
If you miss each other, right?
okay, good deal.
Anybody else got it? I mean, it's going to be big, and like I said, I'm appreciate Sam letting me even talk to me about doing it. Cause he sounded like when I first talked to him about it, he's like, "Are you crazy?"
Donnie, listen, we appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to address council? Okay. Moving on to communications. I see there are none. Reports. There are none. Ordinances. Marta, if you'd like to.
To adopt a permanent operating budget for the city of Ironton, state of Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Anybody? Chris?
Make a motion to suspend the rules and give ordinance 2513 second, third reading by title only.
Bob?
Second motion.
Would discussion happen now, or we're discussion?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. A couple things I'd like to discuss. And first of all, for the rest of council, and I apologize, I was not at that budget workshop because my daughter had just been born. So these are thoughts that I would have discussed then. But specifically looking at the Economic Development Fund, we have a forgivable loan in the amount of $50,000 that is in that fund. That is, my understanding historically, that's been something that is unilaterally approved by our mayor's department, which regardless of who is mayor, that's something I struggle to come to terms with, because I think that is, for a forgivable loan of that amount, I truly believe that's something that a committee or this council, a group of people should be deciding, in my opinion. And I also have just the very principle of that being forgivable. I think we could have more good being accomplished by a revolving fund that's actually getting paid back, whether that's low interest, no interest, etc. And then the other thing that I would like to make mention of is on the municipal Christmas decorations, a new fund in the amount of $61,000. As much as I love Christmas decorations as anyone else, I do question if this is a wise decision for us to make at this time. And so that's the discussion I wanted to throw out. And I'd be curious to hear some other feedback before possibly making a motion to amend. Chris?
I created the economic development fund, or not the economic development fund, but the ordinance for the loan. That was discussed in depth, and our position, council should not be the ones to oversee those funds being distributed. That was agreed upon by everybody. I think that's a bad look on council to be putting out monies when we aren't the
Offer the funds.
right. And so that's just not a good look. It's intermingling of your position and funds. So that's why we left it up to the discretion of the mayor. And truthfully, I think we do a good job of promoting our city, but when we get down to brass tacks, we are not economic developers. That is the position of the mayor and whoever he delegates to do that. So that's why those funds are distributed with the mayor and his team.
No, I kind of want to echo that, but I think, and I think this is established before you were on.
Sure.
But I think the agreement was, the city council didn't want to play the role of economic development. Also, that will be left to the executive branch to do that. We did, however, and I'll say we, I think Chris put together the legislation for that, which involved an application, qualifications involved with that was voted upon and agreed by council. I know you said that full amount, but I believe the mayor may be able to correct. I think that that's been awarded incremental amounts this last year. I don't think it was.
It's not, it doesn't have, it can
It
be
doesn't
how
have-
much ever,
yeah.
it can be
Right,
distributed
yes.
between $1,000 for 50 different
Yeah.
businesses. So it can
And
be
then,
50,000.
I kind of want to reiterate what Chris said. I'm behind it. It goes from our hotel tax. That's what it's paid out of. But I want to be competitive in being able to attract businesses. I think of like the ones that got away, like Tipton's. I don't know, places. I want to be able to have something that we can hang our hat on to be able to attract businesses like that. And at the time, I thought that was our best method to be able to do that. So we funded it, we set the parameters for it, and kind of gave our directive, how we like that. So, and we don't want to be involved. I don't want to say you get it, but you don't, because that's not my role, as a councilman on my end of it. And then, I'm sorry, one more thing.
Yeah.
And then the Christmas, I'd like just to ask, it was the mayor's request for those that, so I would just ask for time for him, let him kind of.
Yeah. Great.
Well, with the Christmas thing, like we haven't purchased anything for quite a few years in lieu of knowing that we were going to have a higher cost. We've been having a hard time getting a tree for the fountain area, which we've done every year since I can remember. And this was getting, artificial tree to, it's at a 30% discount even right now to, you have it for many years to come. And like I said, there for the first year we put 20,000, I think, into a lot of the new stuff we got. And then, the past couple of years we didn't spend because we knew we were gonna have some higher costs coming. So it was like we were saving within the fund. But I did say to John, I think it's in the economic development fund, and it probably should be coming out of the community development fund where we used to get that from. I didn't know we were putting it in as a line item. I thought it was operating expense, capital improvement, whatever. Like we typically
I'll make note that also the community development fund is also funded by the hotel motel excise tax.
Yeah, I mean, they're both funded the same way. It's just like
Right.
economic development should be probably going to business development versus Christmas trees.
And to add to the Christmas thing, Craig and I had discussions on the floor about possible expansion of our Christmas route, or Central Park has theirs. Gallup Bliss, they attract a lot of people with their Christmas light shows, and we were thinking more than 61 a few years back, but we got some costs. I would truthfully like to see us, if we can find it somewhere, have something like that to attract people in here during a time that's really not busy, with the weather and everything. Give people from outside Ironton a reason to come to Ironton. I've driven Gallup Bliss, driven Ashland, driven all the way to Rock Hill and toward their schools, and kids are only young once. Go see them all, and you stop by the whatever when you're there. You go to the restaurant in Gallup Bliss. Probably going out to eat national when you go there. So when Craig actually brought up the fact that he was interested in having some type of like a map, almost like a scavenger hunt of different places that were decorated. Like the house on 6th, and just different things for people to go visit. So at one time that was probably more the tree. I think I do think that downtown, like if you look, north on 3rd Street going down there, the big beautiful tree lit up. That's gives you the Christmas feel. So I think we need to do that. I wouldn't mind if we can find it somewhere if there's funds available. Maybe some extra, maybe over the street. I know those are expensive because we looked at them at one time, but I think it'll only bring people to town.
Yeah, I think, well, the reason it's come up now, like that we might have saved again this year, but it's like we run out of tree options.
Yeah.
With getting them from owners. So this was like a long-term solution we really need. That's why I like that.
Robbie, before you, Bob, had
Yeah, I just wanted to put my thoughts in about the economic development. I've been doing that many years here in the city. And I like it the way it is right now, when we're funding it. And as I think you said, like when Tiffin went to Ashland, it's because Ashland give them a pretty good chunk of money to relocate. And I think right here in the tri-state, you have to look at, we're trying to draw people from Ashland, Huntington, Portsmouth, Jackson, I mean, all around. We're not looking at this money to try and, I mean, we use it for where we need to use it, but I think it keeps us competitive right here in the tri-state. If another city offers, if a company comes in and says, we want to put a restaurant in, we want to put whatever, and if Ashland's offering something, that they want to look at us and say, what would you offer us? Well, if we say we don't have any kind of grant funding or anything to help, well then it makes it easier for them to go somewhere else. So although I see Rob's point of view on it, but I just think it's worked well for the last few years that we've had it. And as far as the Christmas decorations, I think we should use the money. We have the money, if it's budgeted, it's coming from a tax. That, you know, you look at what Ashland did, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars they got in their central park. And like Chris mentioned, Gallipolis, they're not all over the country. People come from everywhere to see theirs. And even if you go to Ashland, not Ashland, if you go to Russell, I think Russell looks really nice. I mean, they, you know, I'm old enough, I can remember the days that we had the greenery that went across with lights on it and stars on it. And that's what they got. They got trains and all kinds of stuff there. So I think having money available don't mean we have to spend it all. It means it's available if we come up with needing something. So that's kind of my opinion on these two changes to what it is. I appreciate your effort.
Yeah, good. Sure, just a couple things to shine back on. The economic development fund, Nate, you're right, I wasn't here when that was created the first time. I guess questions, two questions I would have. Well, first question, do we have success stories from this since that fund has been created of how that has attracted a business to the city of Ironton?
This was the first time, was this past year when we did it, and I do know that it's helped with one new business. The thing about it, giving my feedback on this thing, sure, is very difficult. There's 38 applicants with $50,000 available. And we did have, it wasn't just me, we had our grant writers, the people that worked, they formerly worked at OVRDC and did grants for them and stuff, so they scored them. But then what it came down to is what can we actually fund? Because you had a lot of people asking for like the maximum amount of $50,000, and you can't really pick that apart. Then it's hard to fund it. We ended up funding about 10 businesses at around an average of $4,000. Now that ranged from $800, $900 grant to $12,000, depending on the expansion that was going on. A lot of these were mostly expansion projects, but I do know there's one business that's new, and we actually talked about their liquor permit not too long ago, coming up downtown for the kitchen equipment that they were purchasing to get started up and stuff. So, but yeah, they have until April to finish these projects, so we wouldn't have quite
Robbie, if I could chime in on that. I know specifically of two businesses in town that have applied for it and were awarded those grants. And I applaud what the mayor's office has done in making sure that the money that's there, that's available, isn't just sitting in some shoebox waiting for new business to come, because it's equally important for us to keep current businesses so we don't have Tipton's type situations. I know one specific business had some windows and HVAC issues that needed to be taken care of, and they were awarded the grant. And another one was a brand new startup catering business, and she applied and got the grant within a month. So there are those success stories, but I do agree with you that we need to do what we can to attract more business. So having the money there to help existing businesses is ultra important. But if we want to expand our economic development, then we need to be looking to attract other businesses as well. Chris had something.
I want to add to that. So before I created legislation, before council passed it, before we set up the parameters for distributing the money, there was an economic development fee on the utility bill. It's no longer on there. The money sat in a fund untouched until that was created and passed by everybody on this council, until you came in. So there were six of us were here, and that was the first time that fund had been touched.
That was the shoebox I was referring to.
That's why I said that. So it just, it was a way we had it there. Where it's a replenishing fund. It's like Mr. Perry said, like the mayor said, it's a way, and like Bob and Nate, it's a way to keep businesses here, but also attract new ones, and be competitive with other communities.
Good, Robbie, please.
Sure. So, okay, first of all, thank you for those answers. I would, operate a small business in town as well. I have never applied for that loan. Even in the beginning, before I was on council, I had no awareness that loan existed. I have no hard feelings about that. But my point is this, and I think you mentioned replenishing. It's not a replenishing loan. It's forgivable. So it's not replenishing itself.
It does replenish itself.
Off the hotel tax.
Off the hotel tax.
Right.
Okay, but it's not being that. Those are funds that we could choose to spend differently. Is my point. It's not replenishing itself. It's replenishing from the motel tax. A loan that you have to pay back encourages good business practice. It encourages good fiscal responsibility, and I think when I've had capital improvement loans myself, like I know I have to operate our business in a way to repay those loans. I don't have a choice, right? Because there's a creditor I owe. And so I would argue that a loan that you pay back is going to do more to drive economic development because it's going to drive grind from those business owners. That which is more probably than the actual legislation itself in that capacity. So that is why I was going to make a motion to change the amount to zero on that. Obviously, I'm not going to make that motion tonight because I know that doesn't have support based on this discussion. But I would also argue that an average of $4,000 per business is not driving economic development. And so I'm afraid that we are throwing money in hopes that it's going to make a problem or create a solution that I would challenge is not creating a solution. And I would prefer to see more strategy. And I do believe that our citizens would expect city council to be involved in economic development. I don't know why we have this idea that we should be hands-off when it comes to economic development, that we should be hands-off when it comes to community development and housing. I think these are things that our citizens absolutely expect of us.
I agree with that, Robbie. As the chair of the Industrial and Commercial Committee, I wholeheartedly think that there's got to be a way to balance. And I agree with what Chris said. It's potentially a bad look if we are offering the funds and we are also managing the funds. So
I would also argue it's a bad look when one person's making the decision.
He's not. He's not. He's got a team that looks at, did you look at the application?
No,
Yeah,
Okay, well then you might want to look at it.
Okay, that's,
But we use the people that are CAO, do this quite often. Like I said, both of them actually worked at WRDC for many years until they came here, but they're very experienced in that. And to your point about the 4,000 thing, I wasn't excited to give this out because I felt like, well, there's 10 people here getting this, but there's 28 that didn't. I felt John, you and I've talked about it.
Yeah, it's tough, and
It's
it's $4,000 average, but say, and I think Mr. Cleary pointed this out, you might give one person 1,000, which is gonna help them buy the paint that they're like, man. And then you might give someone else 10,000 that's going to allow them to put in new kitchen equipment, so.
the example that we keep using is Tipton's. I mean, we all painfully, anybody from Ironton painfully remembers the day that Tipton's Traditions left Ironton. And that happened because they were given they were awarded a loan that didn't have to be repaid. So, in order to compete with other communities that have those funds available in such a fashion, it was discussed when we met that we had to be able to offer something. I think Nate had something. Did you want to okay, Bob, please?
So I mentioned that Tipton's, I think the money they got given to them was to hire employees. They created how many jobs.
Sure.
That was what the whole purpose of it was for.
Yeah.
Wasn't for equipment, I don't think, or for the building or the rent. They had to use
That's
that
clever.
people to work.
Yeah, that's good. That's kind of a win-win. Robbie, go ahead.
I agree, that's a good strategy there. Yeah, and then following up on the municipal Christmas decorations, that's, again, I would just argue that when we are facing some hard decisions when it comes to how we're balancing, or how we're, our 5-year projection on our budget, that's where it's my struggle on things that aren't absolutely necessary in some cases to allocate funds for. So that's all. Chris?
So you realize that the community development fund can only be spent on certain things, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so, I mean, it's not like we can put that into.
I would just argue there may be some things that we could spend money on that affect 12 months out of the year versus 1.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I'm saying, there's certain, we can't intermingle the funds and say we're paying for this out of this.
Absolutely.
So I just want to make that clear.
I'm thinking that the hotel tax has a lot of guidelines within the structure. You can only use it for certain things. I don't think you could help pave streets or whatever. It's very structured. Is that right, Nate?
Yeah, I believe there's language in that ORC on how it can be spent. Like one of them is for economic development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We tried to spend a pretty good chunk of money. We tried to spend on things
Yeah, I
that
think that's
doesn't qualify.
yeah, that's lined out with ORC. So
Yeah.
just like our permissive tax or gas tax, all that. Yeah.
Exactly.
One last little thing I'd like to chime in on the Christmas thing. Special time of year for me, it's my birthday, so I like to see Christmas happen everywhere. And to your point, it's not that we want to see anything bad happen, but I think that one of the things, thinking about Gallipolis and different communities that have, unfortunately, several decades ago, Ironton did away with its with Beechwood Park, so we wouldn't have that as an option. But one of the things I've thought about just during this meeting is 5th and 6th Street, some of the historic homes. If we could have the city of Ironton partner with Friends of Ironton or Ironton and Bloom or different organizations that are there for the beautification of Ironton anyway, maybe we could help encourage some of those people to have some of those beautifully historic homes on 5th and 6th Street to decorate their homes, to draw people into Ironton, to drive up paved Fifth Street to Quincy and come back down paved Sixth Street, ooh and ah, at beautiful homes with beautiful lights and beautiful decorations. And so that might be something we can consider doing. I'm sorry, please, Jim.
Yeah, just one thing to point out too. That hotel motel excise tax, we had done the math at one point because this body put that tax into motion. And the amount of money that we missed out on from the time that the hotel was originally built to then, that was money that I see that we didn't get a chance to spend. So I feel that, I think this is a good use of the money, and I think that I'm proud that we were able to take that burden off of our citizens through that fee and have it, generate from business coming through our town. So it's just my 2 cents on that.
We got a motion in a second.
All right, did you have any further discussion? Okay. Have a motion by Mr. Haney and a second by Mr. Cleary. All in favor?
Roll call.
Oh, roll call.
This is to suspend the rules, correct?
Yes.
Brown.
No.
Cleary.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye.
John, do we need this tonight?
Well, we can't now.
Well,
We'll have to, I might have to present an amended budget next meeting,
Okay.
amended temporary.
So
Because we're missing.
we're not going to pass it tonight.
There was one no vote on the suspension, and that gives it a 5-1.
And I'm not, just on the suspending rules.
Well, we can't even vote on it now.
Tonight.
Now you have to come back. Next, we're going to call special meeting for Monday. And I'm just asking. Okay.
So,
We give the second part of it.
no, we can't. Go to the second program. So you just, no other ordinances.
Before we, I'd also like to mention that it was given favorable recommendation by the Finance Committee.
Good. No other discussion on ordinances, resolutions. Resolution number 2514. Mark.
Authorizing the council to apply for, accept, and enter into a water supply revolving loan account, WSRLA, agreement on behalf of the city of Ironton for construction of the water meter project, and designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan and declaring emergency.
Mr. Haney.
Make a motion to pass resolution 2514.
I'll second the motion to pass 2514.
Okay.
Discussion.
Discussion.
You might want to amend it to say authorizing the mayor to do that. I think Kevin put this legislation together for.
Thank you. Good catch.
Good catch.
Mark, you mind rereading that?
Oh, hang on. Chris.
Yes.
Make a motion to amend resolution 2514 in the first sentence, replace council with mayor.
So, Jacob.
I'll second that motion.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye.
Yes. Good.
Mr. Haney.
Make a motion to pass amended resolution 2514.
Bob.
I'll second the motion to pass resolution 2514 as amended.
No discussion.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Haney.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harry.
Aye. Moving on to miscellaneous. Oh, were you?
No.
I didn't think so. Nick.
I'd like to make a motion to accept and make part of the minutes our city financials for January 2025 submitted by the finance director.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Nate to accept the financials for said date, seconded by Bob.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Harry.
Point of order, on the resolution, you voted to amend it, but you haven't voted to pass it in the amended form, did you?
Yeah.
You-
I made a motion to pass amended resolution 2514.
Okay.
Bob
So
seconded.
you voted to amend it first?
Yes.
Okay, I missed that.
Chris, you had something?
It's coming up, we got March coming up, city cleanup days, March 18th through the 22nd, that's Mayor, 8 to 4:30? 8 to 2:30?
Yes.
What?
8:30 to
8:30?
Yeah.
4:30?
4:30.
8:30.
And then they're gonna be there till 2 on that Saturday, or probably 2 or 4.
On the.
Kinda have to work hand in
Saturday.
hand with Mike on that.
I got you.
Chris, what's that date?
But they'll be there on Saturday. We start them on a Tuesday, and it goes Tuesday through Saturday.
18th through the 22nd, I've got probably 4 truckloads I gotta get rid of. So I can wait.
One truckload per.
You only get. Oh, no.
Okay, so.
I did put the dates for the entire year on your old desks up there.
So I'd like to point out, March 18th through 22nd, 8:30 to 4:30, for city cleanup days, to be followed a month later by 3rd and Center, April 26th, trash bath. So if everybody can kind of keep in mind that, March and April will be good springtime cleaning. Spring cleaning, that's what I was trying to say, spring cleaning time. Anybody else with miscellaneous? Chris?
Mayor? No,
I would like a few minutes of executive session to discuss pending litigation with council, myself, John Elam, and Mark Dickus. Solicitor, yes.
no action followed.
No action.
Make a motion to enter executive session, council, solicitor, mayor, finance director, Mark Dickus, no action to follow.
No action followed.
How much time do you need?
Hey,
Wait,
it's like
hang on.
contingent on you.
Don't answer that. Don't answer.
It's contingent on you guys.
Don't answer that, because I'm gonna need to carve out about 3 minutes of that, to have a quick, commercial and industrial, discussion as well, but it could all fall in that, so.
But it's gotta be.
It's
That's outlined.
Contract, legal, or private, and or personnel.
Any litigation.
Hang on. Okay, all right,
This one's pending,
I rescind.
regarding pending litigation, sorry, I thought you mentioned that.
He did. Okay, check.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Chris to go into executive session, no action followed, and seconded by Jacob.
Brown.
Aye.
Cleary.
Aye.
Hany.
Aye.
Hawk.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Harry.
That's it. Thank